Good evening, everybody. You've signed on for another awesome edition of the King's Castle. I'm King James. I'll be your host for the next hour of entertainment news, wrestling news, and whatever else you want to know. And here to help me, as always, is my fun-loving colleague, the always reliable and rarely shy Blair Chopin. Blair, good evening. Hey, family show. Family show. And we also have joining us tonight a very special guest co-host, wrestling's only Southern Shockwave, Peter Kohlberg. Peter, good evening.
Good evening.
Feels good to be in the chair on the court.
It really does. First time.
Well, good to have you with us.
Thanks. Hopefully to be here.
Hopefully you'll give us some good insight as well.
Well, I'll do what I can.
Well, we've got to talk about what's been a very interesting week in the world of pro wrestling, because as you guys both know, we saw the 2016 draft 1 week ago on SmackDown. And I gotta say, some of the draft picks were more shocking than others.
I agree.
Now, I gotta ask you both, were either of you surprised that SmackDown got a lot more of the mainframe stars in the early going?
I was.
Why is that?
Just because I think Raw has a longer running show, and I think that more people watch Raw, so that, you know, their fan base is going to be in shock when they're when they see the new talent. They're trying to build their brand too, still, but
Exactly.
Actually, I made this point last week, and this is why I'm not shocked. Because of it. Actually, because the same thing Pete's saying, the Southern Shockwave over there. He's saying, like he said, Raw is the established brand. I think Raw is already in people's subconscious. Like, they're going to watch Raw no matter what. So they're trying to build the SmackDown brand out more, I think. So that's why I wasn't surprised that SmackDown drafted some superstars, and they wanted SmackDown to have some superstars.
All right, but here's another thing to think about. Think about it from a fan's perspective. Because I know we're all fans, but don't you guys consider Raw to be a bigger stage, considering that they're only 3 hours?
Yes, I do.
They're 3 hours compared to 2 for SmackDown.
Raw is obviously
the Super Bowl,
the bigger product, right? And more popular. But why not try to build SmackDown up to where it can at least be competitive with Raw?
Makes sense.
it does.
Now, the other interesting thing to me is that a lot of the picks from NXT were kind of surprising as well. Like we saw NXT, we saw Raw, we saw Finn Balor come to Raw in the first round, and I don't know about you guys, but that wasn't a surprise to me at all, because Finn Balor is one of the most phenomenal athletes I've seen in recent memory. I mean, Blair, you and I have had a chance to see him in person.
Yes.
So were you surprised at all that he went that early? Because he was number 5
Not really.
overall.
I mean, I on the show last week, if you remember, I said there was a real case for him being the first overall pick. And I think if I had the second pick behind Seth Rollins, that would probably be my pick.
Well, probably so, but as we know...
So it doesn't surprise me that he would fit.
As we know, I don't think I was surprised either that Stephanie showed favoritism towards Rollins picking him overall, because he has been the Authority's golden boy for quite a while.
Do you think they sleep together?
Well, I choose not to speculate because it is a family show. So
I just meant like sleep, like, you know.
Sleep over?
Yeah. Tell each other stories.
Well,
Triple H is a real meanie, Stephanie.
if anything, they probably wouldn't do that without Triple H's permission. But anyway,
Triple H is part of the sleepover.
Yeah.
so they're having a threesome, is what you're saying.
Do you want to play a game?
You think they're having a threesome, Peter?
It wouldn't surprise me. It honest to God wouldn't surprise me.
Well, we'll see. And
In storyline.
in the storyline, that is. But on another note, we also saw a very promising tag team, American Alpha, drafted to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And Blair, I know you were
I'm a fan.
You were really calling for that one.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think the future holds for them? Do you think you see them getting into some big storylines with people like the Usos or the Dudleys, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to gradually build their way up, but I thought that was a really good pick. Because, first of all, it's a 2-for-1 pick with the tag team. You're getting 2 wrestlers for 1 pick.
Right.
You want to exploit that. They're very young. I really like their gimmick. They're very energetic, you know? And I mean, I'm not sure about their microphone skills, but they look like guys that could potentially have good microphone skills.
Well, they are ready.
So I don't know. What do you think of that, Pete? Do you think? I mean, you could say that was like the best value pick of the draft.
You could, and I don't know much about that team because weren't they NXT?
Yeah, they came up from NXT to SmackDown,
and I don't watch a lot of NXT to really know
because you're not a corporate.
Network.
You're not a corporate whore, right?
Family show, Mr. Chopin, please.
Don't spend money on the WWE Network. Save your money, folks. It's all on YouTube.
Don't listen to him.
It's all on YouTube. It's all on YouTube.
Don't listen to him.
It's all on YouTube. Or pirate it. Download it directly.
You don't want to promote anything illegal here.
Here we go.
Cocaine.
The draft picks.
Anyway, on a much more serious note here, was there anybody you were kind of surprised not to see drafted?
Yeah, I mean, Pete, who are you saying you were surprised with?
I was surprised Undertaker wasn't drafted. Because he's one of those main staples of the WWE.
That was true, but I thought about an interesting way of thinking, and I wish someone wrote this piece of these WWE draft picks, was comparing them to, like, college prospects. So, like, if Finn Balor was an NBA prospect, he'd be like, I don't know, like a really young player with a lot of potential. The Undertaker, if he was coming out of college, he'd be like Chris Winkie.
What?
He'd be in his mid-30s already with a lot of injuries, and maybe he could start a couple games. But that's what he is. And I don't know if you want to spend a draft pick on that.
For the record, I have no idea. But
I was thinking Brandon Whedon.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Like an older guy.
Brandon Whedon.
An older guy, you know.
And Whedon still has the talent. So
he has the talent, but has he already peaked in college? Do you want to draft someone who's already had their best days behind them?
Well, I'll tell you guys, for me personally, I was kind of surprised that they didn't draft Bayley to Raw or SmackDown because out of anybody, at least from the women's division in NXT, she's got probably more heart than anybody I've ever seen in recent memory. However, she did make a surprise appearance at the Battleground pay-per-view where she helped Sasha Banks win a tag match. And we'll get a little more into Battleground and the storylines there in the next segment. But when we come back, we're gonna take you back to Battleground, give you a little review of what happened Sunday night, and tell you how that affects the storylines for the coming weeks and the next pay-per-view. So stay right there.
Good job, guys. That was a good segment.
That was a good segment.
Very good.